Chapter 9. What do you think? Joe asked as they left Swift's office. Sleazy, Matt said. Go on, Joe prompted. You know the type. They refuse to be specific about anything. My theory is that they've told so many lies they are terrified about being caught in one. As a result, no matter what you ask them, they leave wiggle room in the answer. Joe chuckled. That sounds like what we just heard. Matt watched a group of students lugging heavy backpacks pass. We have McKnight and the clerk, Sam. I don't make McKnight for the crime. I don't know about Sam yet, Joe said. A group of laughing boys in baggy pants made catcalls at two girls who ignored them. We know Merrick checked in at 2:04 p.m. and that he texted his mother, assuming he sent the text, at 3:30 p.m. The maid discovered the body at 11:30 the next day. Where was he between 2:30 and 11:30? Matt asked. I hate to think we can't close that gap, Joe said. Matt nodded. Detectives developed an instinct over the years, at least the good ones, which pointed them in the proper direction in a case. Matt's instinct told him McKnight was wrong for this killing. He'd been forthright in his answers. He didn't bother to hide his feelings about the deceased, and Matt had read no deception in McKnight's responses. Where are we going? Joe asked. They stood at the intersection of two main hallways. The AV department. I want access to the security tapes. Joe hesitated. You know they're not going to just hand those over. Student privacy. We're going to need warrants. Matt nodded. I know, but as long as we are here, I want to see what's available. Then we get warrants for everything. Social media accounts, phone records, email logs, GPS data, anything that touches this case. Let's put together the full list. So the murder warrant package, Joe said. Exactly. After 15 minutes of walking, Joe groaned. I think we should leave a trail of breadcrumbs. I'm lost. I don't remember my high school looking like this. It's like a college campus, except better. No wonder property taxes go up every year. Now you sound old, Joe laughed, complaining of property taxes. I hear about them every time my brother raises my rent. Swears the taxes are forcing him to do it, Matt said. Matt started walking again. What about the Patel angle? Sam works nights at the motel, has access to all the rooms, and clearly didn't like Merrick flirting with his sister, Joe said. But is that enough to stage an elaborate murder? Cut off someone's head? Matt shook his head. Seems like overkill for what amounts to a stranger hitting on your sister. Unless there's more to it, Joe said. They wandered the halls for another 10 minutes, making wrong turns and doubling back. The school was a maze of identical corridors. Matt was about to suggest they head back to the front office when they spotted a maintenance man pushing a cart of cleaning supplies. Excuse me, Matt called, flashing his badge. We're looking for the AV department. The older man with salt and pepper hair and deep wrinkles around his eyes looked them over, then gave a knowing smile. Lost, huh? Happens to everyone first time in this place. He wiped his hands on his coveralls. Follow me. I'll show you the shortcut. He led them down a service corridor and through a maintenance area that bypassed several hallways. Saves you 5 minutes of walking, he explained, pointing to a door at the end of a short hallway. That's your AV department right there. Appreciate it, Matt said as the man returned to his cart. I would have never found this, Joe muttered. Their luck held. Bob Scheinfeld, the head of the department, was still at his desk. A balding man in his 40s, with a paunch that suggested too many hours in front of screens and not enough physical activity, Scheinfeld looked up from his computer as they entered. Can I help you? Scheinfeld asked, pushing his glasses up on his nose. Matt and Joe showed their badges. We need to review some security footage, Matt explained, related to a case we're working. Scheinfeld frowned. Do you have a warrant for this? We've got strict privacy policies, especially with student video. It's in the works, Matt said. We'll have it by the time we're ready to pull anything. Bob didn't look thrilled, but he nodded. Just so we're clear, this isn't a quick pull. We've got over 100 cameras across campus, hallways, entrances, parking lots. If you're asking for multiple days of footage, that's a massive amount of data to sift through. How long? Matt asked, taking in Scheinfeld's unhappy expression. Scheinfeld rubbed his chin, then looked at them both. Look, I know how these things go. You'll have the paperwork soon enough, and I don't want to waste time. Why don't I give you access now? Just viewing privileges. It's not technically against policy as long as nothing gets copied or distributed. When the warrant lands, I can send you anything you need officially. I can make my own copies, Matt asked. No, the code only lets you look. If you want a copy of an original, I've got to make it. You can, however, print o still. Show me, Matt said. Pull up a chair. It's not hard. Scheinfeld rolled his chair to the side, making room for Matt and Joe to gather around his main workstation. He tapped a few keys and a login screen appeared. I'm setting you up with temporary credentials, Scheinfeld explained as his fingers flew across the keyboard. The system is pretty sophisticated for a high school, but the district has deep pockets when it comes to security. The screen changed to a grid layout showing thumbnail views from multiple cameras, hallways, entrances, the parking lot, and what looked like the cafeteria. You said 100 cameras, Joe asked. Scheinfeld nodded and clicked through different views. We've got fixed cameras at all entrances and exits, PTZ cameras, that's pan tilt zoom, covering the parking lots and outdoor areas, and dome cameras in the hallways and common spaces. Matt leaned closer. What about classrooms? No cameras inside classrooms. Scheinfeld shook his head. Privacy concerns. Same for locker rooms and bathrooms, obviously. But we've got every hallway, stairwell, the cafeteria, library, and gymnasium covered. He pointed to different sections of the screen as he spoke. What's the retention period? Matt asked. 60 days standard for all footage, Scheinfeld said. After that, it automatically purges to make room for new data. Scheinfeld clicked through a few more screens. The interface is pretty straightforward. You can select any camera, any date and time within the retention period and view the footage. Fast forward, rewind, standard controls. Matt nodded. And if we're looking for someone specific? Scheinfeld grinned slightly. That's where it gets interesting. He clicked an icon in the corner of the screen, and a new panel opened. Facial recognition. Added last year. We can upload a photo, and the system will scan for potential matches. How accurate is it? Joe asked skeptically. Better than you'd think. Not perfect, especially with partial face views or bad angles, but it cuts down search time dramatically. Scheinfeld demonstrated by uploading a photo of himself from his phone. Within seconds, the system highlighted several instances of him walking through hallways earlier that day. That's impressive, Matt admitted. And slightly creepy, Joe added. Scheinfeld shrugged. Welcome to the brave new world of school security. Anyway, here's how you access the system. He scribbled a login and temporary password on a sticky note. This is good for 48 hours. After that, you'll need to contact me for renewal. We appreciate the help, Matt said, taking the note. So, what exactly are you looking for? Might save you some time if I point you in the right direction. Matt and Joe exchanged glances. We're trying to track the movements of Raymond Merrick, Matt said carefully, last few days before his death. Scheinfeld's expression shifted, eyes widening slightly. The football player? The one they found. He trailed off, clearly uncomfortable with completing the thought. Yes, Matt confirmed. We need to know who he was with, where he went, anything unusual. Scheinfeld nodded soberly. The news traveled fast. Terrible thing. He paused, then added, if you've got a good photo of him, the facial recognition should pick him up easily. Kid was all over this place, popular, you know. We've got photos, Joe confirmed. Then let me show you how to use the recognition feature properly, Scheinfeld said, gesturing for them to pay close attention. There are some tricks to getting the best results. For the next 15 minutes, Scheinfeld walked them through the system's capabilities, demonstrating search functions, filter options, and how to export still images. By the time he finished, Matt felt confident he could navigate the interface. One last thing, Scheinfeld said as they prepared to get to work. Don't let anyone else in here while you're accessing the system. Principal would have my head if unauthorized people were viewing footage. We'll keep it locked down, Matt assured him. Back out in the hall, Matt said, let's divide and conquer. Do you want to take the alibis of McKnight and Sam and see if they hold up? I'll interview Merrick's friends, the gods and goddesses. While you're doing that, you might follow up on the Latino angle as well, Joe said, then checked his watch. Let's sleep first and get a fresh start in the morning. Matt agreed. The day had been long, starting with the gruesome discovery at the motel. His mind kept circling back to the staged body, the deliberate positioning, the missing parts, the cold calculation of it all. You good to drive? Joe asked as they reached their vehicles. Yeah, Matt replied, though exhaustion had settled into his bones. I'll call you in the morning. 7 work for you? Make it 8, Joe said. I'm not as young as I used to be.